started going, wow, the second we started.
It's a good thing none of the kids are here.
Grand old Memorial Day stuff.
No, they're at my sister's friend's house.
To be honest, I forgot it was Memorial Day until my parents brought it up when I asked them why they weren't at work.
I forgot it was Memorial Day until literally Kit brought it up just now.
I'm acutely aware of it being Memorial Day because I bought supplies to bring a dish to the family get-together on Memorial Day. But since I called out my brother for being a fascist, because he's being a fascist, I'm not invited to Memorial Day. So we get to start this week instead of next week. Yay!
Okay.
It's fine. What this means is I don't have to spend Memorial Day sitting there pretending not to be pissed off at everyone who thinks that they're being careful to talk around me with their high-minded, we don't want to upset Kit. But if I say anything, that isn't 2 steps left of genocide, then they're like, well, you're not very tolerant. What happened to the tolerant left? And I'm like, there's no tolerant left. We're not liberals, you jackass. Anywho, everything looks like it's working, so I'm gonna put that away and not worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
And so we've made characters, we're ready to go into Cauldron, the city of, I'm sure it has a little slogan somewhere. I can't believe I didn't think of what it could possibly be. It doesn't have something like that, seriously? Most places are like, blah, the city of blah. Nope, Cauldron's like, yep, this is Cauldron.
This is Cauldron. We live in a volcano. It shouldn't be hard to miss.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't used to live in the volcano. They lived at the bottom, and then, the demons, a few hundred years ago, did their attacking, and the wizard's like, is the volcano safe? And they're like, yeah, completely dormant. And they're like, cool, it's a natural fortification. And everyone moved in there.
Yeah.
Yay. And so, vinaigrettes. I had a couple of vinaigrettes ready, based on your backgrounds that you wrote me, to try to get things a little bit rolling. Who feels comfortable kind of going first? And while I was getting everything in place, I actually took a moment and made a token. So I have the token I need.
Yes, I'll go first.
Cool. So you are, as you have been very often for the last few years, working to try to keep the alley bashers up above float. For the last year or two, the Last Laugh has been cracking down on alley basher opportunities, pushing you out of certain criminal markets, letting the town guard know when and where you might be doing little busts. And what used to be kind of a fairly important alley basher sort of... I'm echoing out of your microphone. Someone. Mal, I'm echoing out of your mic. Cool. Sorry. Oh no, you can't hear me. La 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 la. Now I can't hear you. And it's fixed. Is it fixed? Is it fixed? It's fixed. Yay. You know how that stuff just feeds back and distracts me. So, what used to be kind of a fairly significant but not well-known alley basher safe house became first your backup headquarters after your headquarters was raided by the town guard. Then it became kind of your only location, as the number of people just involved in your organization dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. And today you've been kind of sitting, waiting here for your right-hand man, Orus, to show up with possible leads and information people have sorted out so that you can make a few hits, so to speak. Find a few marks. Maybe build things up once more. And when Orus arrives, you see that he's a little bit more firm than usual. He used to be kind of a really friendly, cheerful sort of person. But as he comes in, he seems very gloomy, very serious as he approaches.
Seems to be the problem, Morris.
Well, boss, it's not easy to say, man. So like, I was chatting with the other guys and the girls and, folk that are still around, and we're like, I don't know how we want to say it. It's a little hot, And like, we love you, you're smart, you're clever, but just stand out and like... They said that they're going to try to find other avenues of getting by, It's been a great time, but, the alley bashers were really done. There's just nothing left. Sorry, boss.
Yeah, man. It's a bit too risky.
I'm glad you understand it, man. It's just... We just can't, He steps forward and tries to give you a hug.
I will let him, but I will not return a firm hug. It's just a really soft hug.
Cool. Yeah, he's giving it's a nervous, awkward hug. He's like, yeah, we're like, if you need anything, like, we'll keep an ear to the ground, let us know, man. Maybe we can help you out, and yeah, stuff like that, Anyway, I gotta get going. I'm meeting up with some guys. There's like a sort of transportation gig. Yeah, peace. And Orus turns and kind of awkwardly starts walking away.
I will just be sitting there watching him as he leaves.
And he turns the corner. And that's the last you ever see Orus alive. Dun dun dun. That's not true at all. Don't. So yeah. As it goes, though, that's how it goes. Orus and his little team were the last group of people still sticking with you after the last laugh rose up. And now you're sitting here alone, a king of thieves in the last destitute subterranean remnant of your kingdom, with no one at your service anymore. And nothing to distract you from the smell of Cauldron's sewers drifting in from just outside the door. Isn't this a nice and cheerful opening? Well, both of you kind of start in dark places. Tonatuum, you start in what could arguably be a darker place. So, as you know from our discussions of your character backstory, you ran a silk shop. In fact, that's what the map you see here for your little house is. You've got a silk shop on the lower floor, a little bedroom and private dining room on the second story, little balcony that looks out over the town. But as you're laying in bed, or sitting in the chair, however you will, you have a note from the magistrate regarding reparations from your property. It's a very formal letter. It's, recognizes the hardship that you're facing. After all, it must be a terribly difficult thing to learn that your mother and her husband and your half-siblings were all involved in such a vast conspiracy to commit treason against the true and proper government of Cauldron. So it was with great sorrow that the magistrate informs you that they have had to confiscate your stores and your backlog and your kind of reserve cash on account of it all being tied into suspicions of black market funding of this terrorist activity. So, to wit, Mal, I'm echoing again, I think. I hate it when that happens. And we're streaming, so of course it happens. To wit, they have had people come in the afternoon while you were away to gather and move the goods away. So here you are sitting in your bedroom, in this empty storefront, completely lacking in goods to sell or reserve gold, with the monthly rent looming. It is currently, if I can double check my calendar here, where's my calendar? Where is my calendar? Oh, I'm echoing myself. Whoops. So, calendar here. That's not my calendar. I'm sorry, I should have thought of this. I didn't. Excuse me. So, there we are. So it is currently the 15th of reaping in midsummer. That's the day it is. You have your rent due on the 28th of reaping in the amount of 150 gold pieces. Normally that's not unreasonable for you to gather, but with all of your back funds taken, with your stocks taken, you're sitting here with nothing but what you had on your back and in your bag, namely your character inventory, and this place that you need to fork over 100 gold to the landlord in 14 days. Or, yeah, bad stuff's gonna come.
Twig, did you manage to make sure there's nothing left under the beds? Managed to find all the scrap change in this house, but it's still only 24 gold. I'm ruined. My family's ruined. If I don't do nothing, we're just gonna waste on the streets.
Meow.
What is it, Twig?
I just felt it appropriate for him to meow at that time.
That's right. There must be lots of rumors in the taverns. Perhaps someone must be willing to pay for an odd job. And who knows, if it all goes well, we might be able to keep the house for another month. We could just bide our time long enough, we could get restocked, and we'll just be business as usual.
I'm going to copy and paste your token real quick to put you where I figure is a good spot for your shop to be in the map. Do you feel around about here is a good spot for your shop?
Yeah.
There we go. We have you by your shop as an object layer token, so we know where you are. And I'll drag your actual token over there so that you're free to mark where you are without problems. Twig can stay in your house until we need them somewhere. He's assumed to be with you. Mal, I'm not going to put Turvu's joint on the map because your place is kind of accessed through the sewers.
Yeah.
So anywhere on the map, so you can essentially come up or drop into the sewers anywhere in the map, but there is a risk of random encounters.
Gotcha.
Let's see, where's the nearest inn?
So, as far as taverns go, the big taverns are the Slippery Ear Tavern, which is spot number 9, the Drunken Morkoth Inn, which is 14, the Tipped Tankard, which is 15, and those are the ones you'd be able to get to. There's a couple others, but they're pretty fancy. Schmancy. You got the Tipped Tankard over there. You've got the Drunken Morkoth up here. And you've got the Slippery Eel, wherever number 8 is, up there. They're actually all relatively close to each other.
It's very odd, yeah.
The Tipped Tankard Tavern seems to be the closest. I'll start my search there.
Okay, which tavern are you heading to?
The Tipped Tankard Tavern?
Okay. So, this is pretty much... Okay, so there's a couple other taverns that I missed. The Koi Nixie, which is number 19. And the Cusp of Sunrise, which is number not listed on the map. Oh, number 10. So, Cusp of Sunrise is over there. And the Koi Nixie is over here by the door. Those are both upper class taverns. The Tipped Tankard is pretty much the best place for commoners to get a drink. It's where off-duty guards go to drink. People don't get into brawls. It's a pretty laid-back sort of spot. The Drunken Morkoth, which is 14, is the most popular inn. It's mostly a place for merchants and adventurers. It tends to get rowdy. And the slippery eel is the preferred place for miners and plantation workers coming in from outside of town. Everything there is cheap, and the town guard ignores the place. So just for your information, you are Tonatium. Tonatium is known to the guards because of his relationship to his mother and his stepfather. Like, you're not wanted, but they're going to go, yeah, that's the son of the traitors.
Should I go to the slippery eel in that case, or should I go to the Drunken Morkov Inn? Since there are adventurers and merchants, chances are there's someone there who's willing to have a job.
It's a possibility.
I'll try my luck with the tankard. I mean, not the tankard, the Drunken Morkov Inn.
Cool, that's up there at 14. And what is Turvu gonna do with his night?
Head to a tavern as well.
Cool. Do you have a preferred tavern? Are you heading to the Drunken Morkov Inn?
I do need some sort of income now that literally all of my fellow thieves have disbanded.
Cool. So, how are you heading out, Turvu? Considering your nature. And how you, despite not being known by the guards, will almost certainly be arrested on sight if recognized as what you are.
Hood over my head, shrouding most of my face.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you had like a jester's outfit or something because you were a juggler.
I have the burglar's outfit, so I have a mask and a hood.
Cool. Okay. Then that will be sufficient to cover you. Your smoke will come out of your eyes, but it looks like it's part of your mask. We're gonna be nice and say most people will assume your mask is enchanted to look cool. Okay. Would you kindly roll me a D100? Turvu? Please don't have an encounter before you join the party. You're good. You get where you're going, no encounter. So, I don't have a map for the tavern because I'm assuming that there's not going to be any problems at the tavern. We'll make a map if we need it. So, the tavern, for both of you, you're not arriving together, but for both of you, the tavern is a pretty loud, rowdy sort of place. There's people drinking, adventurers bragging about their latest kills, exaggerating them, merchants quietly taking advantage of the noise to haggle prices under the table. Some are griping about the gate tax. Pretty standard stuff going on in the bar. The bar itself, the front of the bar on its sign has like a kraken tentacle coming out of water behind it. And when you enter into the bar, the back of the bar itself is covered with this great mural which shows the city of Cauldron, and out of the city of Cauldron's central lake there's this big water monster rising up. And that water monster has tentacles full of beer that it's handing out to the citizens. There's lots of little side paintings throughout. Like there's one painting of that sea monster dancing around on tentacles with tavern wenches on both arms, obviously drunk. There's an image of it leaning over a table, barely hanging onto its mug and pointing at someone while drunkenly talking to people. Similar other things. All very cartoony and cute and funny. what are you all gonna do in this inn?
Well, I guess first things first, I'll ask the other merchants on how they're doing, if they have any jobs, or if they know someone who's hiring for some part-time labor or something.
Cool, will you make me a diplomacy check?
Of course.
Okay, and will you roll me a d20?
Oh wait, it was actually a +4. I forgot. I did my sheet a bit differently this time.
Okay, so, it'll still be a d20. They go, no. We don't have any work, man. We don't. We're getting everything pretty settled up, but, I mean, you've heard about the missing townfolk, right? They're going missing left and right and left and right. Janir Everdawn. She was one of them missing, right? Yeah, worked at the orphanage. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. No. They whisper back and forth now. Shaking their heads.
There's been people going missing lately.
Yeah. What, have you been too busy following that, traitorous Ullman family to keep an eye on it? There's some people like that, talking about them, but it's on everyone else's lips. Just a couple times a week, somebody just vanishes. No sign of a break-in, no sign of violence. They're just gone. Folk are getting nervous.
And the guards have done nothing about this?
Well, they're looking. They're trying to figure it out, but yeah, I don't know. As I said, that one woman works at the orphanage. I don't think it's a coincidence. Guards thought I was crazy. Forced me to go outside to get some paperwork to prove I was here, which made me have to pay the gate tax again coming in. That's how it is, I suppose. Dervu, what are you up to here?
Probably doing much the same.
Cool. Will you also give me a d20 roll? So, once again, they're not really hiring, but they are, sharing rumors, and they're like, you're dressed almost just like the people that we've been seeing. Last few evenings, they've been leaping rooftop to rooftop. Groups of 4 or 5 people, masked and cloaked, just like you. They don't have those cool eyes. You with them?
No, I'm just a juggler.
Juggler? Do some juggling! I'm echoing back again.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. I'm sure that that's some hardware, software bullshit. But yeah, do some juggling. Says the people.
Start juggling.
You start juggling. So, Tonatium, as you're talking to people about work and hearing everyone go, we're not really hiring, you see a guy, masked man with red smoke coming out of the eye holes of his mask, stand up and start juggling. You make a performance check, Dervu. See how you do. That's a pretty decent juggle. He's not the best juggler in town, but he ain't too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And, people are, they're like, what's this, a juggler? They're not super excited, but they're like, yeah, that was pretty impressive. Do a little applause. Tonatium, do you do anything of the sort? Any applause? Any cheering? Tossing gold
Probably
at
a
this?
slow clap.
Huh? It's a clap. Not really. Are you going to toss any copper or silver at this talented performer busking in the tavern?
Eh, perhaps a silver piece.
Cool. So taking that into account, at the various pieces of silver and copper that folk are tossing at you, Turver, you gather up a total of 8 silver over the course of your performance.
Gotcha.
You won't make money from another perform check tonight, just so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. People enjoyed it. It wasn't great, but, you busked with juggling. And most of what you got was in terms of copper. Like, some guy's like, yeah, okay, cool, tosses you a copper. One guy, and only one guy, tossed you a silver piece. Kind of tall Ullman guy that you recognize, because we established you two have met each other beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I forget how you know each other, but I remember we discussed that.
I think for Antonio, he thinks of us as friendly rivals.
Yeah, friendly competitor.
And then I think of him as a kindred spirit who works towards the same goal as me.
Cool. So yeah, that guy just threw you like a silver piece.
After my performance finishes, I will walk up to him. Hey, how's it going?
Didn't expect to see you juggling today.
Yeah, well, I had to get out and try to find some way to make money.
Don't even talk to me about the money. I'm sure you heard the stories, haven't you?
A bit.
Confiscated my assets, claims that this investigation my ass. I did hear something strange this evening, though. Were you aware people were going missing the past few weeks?
I've heard whispers about it when I've been sneaking around, but nothing major.
In fact, Turvu, you know that for some of the members of your group, the reason that they've stopped being active and gone to ground is that the town guards were kind of beating around Last Laugh and Alley Basher, known hangouts, to try to round up information on this.
The guards have been questioning my former men about this incident.
Well, since I literally have nothing better to do, I was hoping to look into this a bit further. If we're lucky, we might uncover something bigger.
Maybe
And
the
if there is
town
a
pays
big
for solving
person
their
behind
problems.
this, we might get some gold.
Yeah. The town should pay us handsomely if we make it so people stop disappearing.
I wouldn't say about that. But it might be a start. Just rebuilding the reputation. Not that I could care less what they think, but it makes things a lot harder.
As long as I can get by, I'm fine with it.
Perhaps we should go our separate ways and meet up at the orphanage. That seems to be everyone's talking about the latest disappearance.
There are more than one orphanage in Cauldron.
Which one were they talking about?
They didn't say. They're just talking about her being from the orphanage.
What was her name again?
Her name was... You should have written this down. Rah. No, it's fine. I just have to fill airtime while I change pages. Janir Everdon. It's right there. Yeah, and if you want to try and find out more information about people, you can always ask around about individual persons.
Perhaps I'll ask the bartender and see if he knows anything.
What are you asking about?
Yeah.
What are you asking about?
Hey, do you happen to know about the orphanage that Miss Janir Everdon was at?
Only Janir Everdon I know about is the woman who volunteers down at Blue Crater Academy, to teach the kids. But she hasn't shown up to work in like 2 months. It's been real stressful. There has been some stuff in the orphanage, like 4 kids, I think, just went missing just a couple nights ago.
Which orphanage?
Lantern Street. 4 people went missing. Some more than went missing from any one spot before. Real worrisome. If I'm honest, I don't even go home. I make sure not to go home tonight alone these nights. You shouldn't either.
Noted.
Can I get you anything? Mead, beer, fire wine.
How much for a beer?
2 copper. I'll give you a nice cheap beer since you're clearly watching your money. And just so you know, I think they were a little harsh with your mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going on.
What's going on is the Lord Mayor's been cracking down on things all over. Probably it's because of these disappearances. They've been going on for months. Kept them quiet. Gosh, it's been going on for almost a year. Town Guard's been able to keep it quiet, but people are talking, and I guess that makes the Lord Mayor nervous. You know what? Have this beer on the house. Have this beer on the house. I recognize you. I know who you are, and you've got enough troubles going on.
Thank you.
Hey, no worries. Just don't tell the boss, eh?
Of course. I'll drink the beer.
Yay, you drink a beer. It's a cheap beer. Yeah. So what y'all want to do?
What time of the day was it?
It's night.
Night.
Yeah, it's early evening.
Hmm.
You don't need to worry too
Where is
much
that?
about. You don't need to worry too much about the evening because they have, gaslit lamps along most of the roads, except in the upper part of town where they have little ever-burning crystals. But the point is that the roads themselves are generally pretty well lit. As long as you don't go cutting through alleys, that is.
Where is Lantern Street on the map?
Lantern Street is one of the side connecting roads. So,
The Lantern Street Orphanage is number 18.
yes, and Lantern Street is this particular crossroad here.
All right. Perhaps we should stick together, at least for now.
Yeah. If whoever's kidnapping people or ambushes us, it better be better with the both of us.
I guess we're going to the Lantern Street.
Cool. So, a wretched drizzle's kind of falling this evening. The sky, it's dark, but it's kind of an ashen gray tone to the darkness. It's overcast. It's not really. It would be improper to call it rain, but it would also be improper to call it a drizzle. So it's just kind of a wet, miserable sort of, not quite fog, but not quite clear sort of feeling. Most of the houses have had their shutters closed for the night. People have lit their fires, so chimney smoke is filling the air and kind of gripping to the moisture, making it also a little bit more just miserable outside right now. And as you're heading along the road, are you taking Magma Avenue or Lava Avenue to get down to the Lantern Street?
Guess I would take Lava Avenue.
Okay. So as you're heading down Lava Avenue, you can hear a cry for help coming from a nearby alley.
Which direction?
Make a perception check. So you can hear a sound of a scuffle coming from that same nearby alleyway. And I am moving your tokens over to the alley. And there's Twig with you once more.
Twig, what are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
Twig's been with you this entire time. Come now.
Ah, okay.
Remember, as I said, it's assumed Twig is with you unless you explicitly say otherwise.
I thought you said Twig was left at home, but
I left the token at
you
home.
might have just said token.
Yeah, I left the token at home, so I didn't have to drag it around everywhere.
Yeah.
But yes, you can hear the scuffling coming from a nearby alley around this way. Like most alleys, it slopes towards the center of town pretty steeply. So this is Lava Ave. This goes towards the center of town. It's quite a steep break down the floor. And steps have been carved regularly to make it easier to go up and down. And you can see 3 sort of shadowy figures down the alleyway, with another one closer to you kind of keeping an eye out. And you can hear one of the attackers holding this central guy going, "Stay away from the orphanage. You got that?" Turvu? you will recognize. You see how these guys have their faces painted? In this black-white cover? You recognize that as the sort of uniform of the Last Laugh Thieves Guild. Do you intend to get involved?
Yes.
Cool. Are we going to be having an initiative?
Initiative.
Okay. I guess I'll.
I just realized I didn't prepare these stats. No. Give me just one moment. Ah, I fucked it up. This is me not being prepared because I'm not aware of what I need to be prepared for. Where are you? Come on. Element OP. I made a nice document, and then I realized just now that it's not as well organized as I thought it would be.
Whoops.
Great. So that's that one. And I also need you, elemental PQR. Okay. So now I can finally roll initiatives. Okay. So their initiatives. So we've got, what do we got? We've got a 20 from Teravu, a 3 from Tonatagium, 17, 8, 6, and finally, you actually have the same initiative as them. Good job. So, Tervu, you here, you get to act first.
I will walk right up here and very loudly pronounce. So, what's a bunch of last laugh goons roughing up someone in the middle of an alley?
And this gentleman, being able to act before the last laugh goons, who were not expecting you to just be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" is going to, where are you? He's going to go, "Oh, help, please help, help." The one right there, closest to you, is just going to look at you, shrug, and say, "You don't want any of this, friend. Keep walking. Forget you saw anything." While these two continue to kick the guy who's down. Boof, boof, boof. That should be a 4, not a 5. I hit a 2 instead of a 1. And oof. For the actually no, I need to roll attack first. Hi. I'm totally ready to be a GM tonight, guys. Totally. Okay, they missed. So this guy's just these two are just beating on him, and he's just keeping his arms up over his head not to get hurt. Donatium, whose name I look at every time and go, "That's how it's said," and then I go to say it and I trip over my tongue. Every time. Seems your traveling partner is into getting involved.
Perhaps I shall assist him, but from a safer distance. I'm going to cast Shield on Twig and whisper to him, make sure you stay hidden, but go into the alley and see what's going on.
Okay.
And
Twig will need a stealth roll.
I love that I don't have ranks in this, but the natural stealth for cats are just that hot.
Stealthy Twig.
Yep, Twig's not going to get spotted by any of them.
Okay, but now I just realized the measurings.
Yeah, the measuring count is just every square is 5 feet. So.
Yep. Every square is 5 feet.
Okay. You know what? Twig will double move just to reach.
Super stealthy Twig.
Okay. So I'm still looking for that stat block. There it is. Okay. Turvu.
I'm gonna pull out 2 of my star knives and look intimidating. Or try to look intimidating. Back off.
Make an intimidate check.
Sadly, it's one of the things I don't have ranks in.
Oh God, somebody help! Guy raises up his fists in front of him. You back off. He's not very intimidating either. And once again, these two are continuing to beat the poor guy in the alley. This time hitting him. That's not a crit. That's not a crit.
Gotcha.
But both of them do hit. For a total of that. Which will render him unconscious. Donatium, Twig saw all of this. They saw these two guys, just one of them pulled the hands away and the other one just punched him 3 or 4 times in the face until he's laying there unconscious, eye swelling shut.
I'm not sure if I could. Does my character himself see that, or just is Twig only aware of that?
Twig saw it. Turvo saw it. You've been standing around the corner, so.
Well, nothing happened, so I won't do anything as far as Donatium are concerned. But Twig is, he's gonna attack the thugs.
Kitty fuck.
Probably the thug that's labeled Elam.
Hylam. Yes, you don't know their names, but they have names.
So yeah, I'm gonna go for a full round attack. Claw.
That hits. That does not hit.
And
That only hits because he's unaware of you. And you're and Twig's flanking. I'm going to say, with
This
Rufus's
is a claw.
last breath.
Claw. Bite.
For a total of 2 damage. Turvu, you see the cat just like, yes, and just like claw, leaving little claw marks along along this guy's cheek. You know, the way cats do when they scratch people.
Trevor will shrug and say, I warned you. And he's gonna attack, Curlin.
Curlin is gonna go, oi, bugger off, I said. Backing up and getting his hands ready. These other two look up at him saying that and see you, and Hylam just backs. Hylam, who looked about ready to kick the cat, backs away, provoking an attack of opportunity from the cat.
Bite.
That misses because he's no longer flat-footed against you. And he just looks back and like, what the hell? Get out of here. And this is when Rufus reveals that he was faking it. As he rolls out of the way and hurries back this way going, oh god, help! And Curlin's just too shocked to take an attack of opportunity as this guy hurries back here. And as he collapses over here, he says, St. Cuthbert, save us all. And Turvu and Tonatium, you feel a warmth growing inside of you. You're blessed. Tonatium.
Yeah.
Does Frigate get blessed?
Yes. Sure. St. Cuthbert, bless us all, and our little cat too.
So it comes to this. What I say as I cast Acid Splash on Curlin. Does that touch?
That touches.
3 acid damage.
It hurts him more than your cat hurt the other one. He just goes, ah! Ow! Twig.
Oh yeah. Twig. We'll notice this and go after Curlin. Backward shift.
41.3 foot shift.
Attack. What?
41.3 foot shift. Because of the measurements being all set up for the main cauldron.
Claw. Claw.
Crit threat. Confirmation. Critical claw.
Ooh, should I roll the damage first?
Roll the damage for the critical claw.
Would it be a -8 if it was a -4 due to strength?
Yeah. So Twig triumphantly leaps through the air and claws at Curlin right in the jugular for 1 damage. Because familiars are not really combat animals.
Nope.
And bite.
Provides a good distraction and bite.
Nope. You may both make perception checks.
For me.
Tonatium.
Or Twig.
Tonatium, you hear someone up on the rooftop struggling not to laugh. And you can see her just sitting up there, covering her mouth, just chuckling. Turvu, you do not see her.
Okay. I will charge at Curlin.
Yar, Curlin.
What do you know? You're flanking.
Flanking and charge. So that's 2 plus 2 plus 2.
That will hit. Because you're flanking and charging. What weapon are you using again?
My Star Knife is piercing.
Okay, cool. So you just took that little star knife and we're like, yeah, run into you. And he goes, ow! And he goes, fucking, I'm bleeding! You shit lord. And he he had his hands up ready to punch. At this point, he reaches down, draws out a longsword, and attacks you with it. And aren't you glad he rolled his nat 20 on his morale check?
And he misses.
And the other guys are like, shit. And they also morale check. One of them goes, nope, I'm not getting paid enough, and GTFOs. The other one draws his sword and goes, shit. And just advances, not giving a damn about the cat, provoking an attack of opportunity.
Wipe. Misses.
So Rufus steps around the corner, panting, takes his mace, and just says, St. Cuthbert, guide our strikes and let us come true. And his mace begins to glow with a soft, pale light. Tonatium.
How much was the bonus for Bless?
+1.
+1 for attack and damage?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that would have been a 6 then.
Oh well. Acid splashing Carlin in the face. And that does not touch, and I nearly flubbed the spell.
Nope. You're working so hard not to hit Turbu that you just end up hitting the wall of the building, doing some damage to the siding.
Not to mention, I'm like trying my best to keep an eye on the person on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Big will continue to slash with a Carlin with a full round. Claw.
Hit.
Bite.
So remember how we're saying you're not supposed to be a combatant, Twig? We're dealing at least 3 damage here.
Sadly, he can't do any more than 3 damage.
I think that bite might be able to do a little more.
Well, because he has like a -4 to his attack, I think. Oh, yeah, minus. So he can't do any more than 1.
On the claws. I think the bite does a little more.
He
Never mind.
can't do any more than 1.
Yeah. Well, still, Curlin is not looking good. Just the cat's like, Twig is like crawling all over his back, going, meow, 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 meow. Yeah, angry cat noises. And Jill, she stands up, and you can see Hylam running around as fast as he can away from things, and she shakes her head, draws a bow, and fires. And you can see the guy who was running away just takes an arrow to the back of the head. And with that, she shrugs and just starts walking away into the night. Dervu.
I will slash at Carolyn again.
So at this point, Curlin and Nihilus are going after you, Turvu. They're going hard. And by going hard, I mean da 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 da.
He went too hard.
He attacked you so hard he went straight on into the critical fail deck. He might save. Okay, he saved. He swings and you just deftly parry his blow and he smacks himself in the face with the flat of the blade. Nearly falling unconscious, but he makes his will save to not. Nihilus is like, you idiot! It's just one little dweeb in a mask. Isaiah fails to hit that dweeb in a mask. And Rufus stands up. His eye is still, beginning to seal shut from the beating he took. But as he stands up with his glowing mace, he says, Cuthbert, grant me your strength. And as he steps around the corner, he grows large.
Dun.
Donatium.
And the ass is less to Curlin. I'm guessing that doesn't touch.
No, it does not. Now you have two potential allies you don't want to get acid on.
And sadly, you're doing the only attack that I can't deflect.
And I keep forgetting to add in the flanks, so I'm going to do that this round along with the bless, so that's 7.
Hit.
Claw.
Hit.
Claw. Bite.
Hit. He's certainly down. Not dead, just unconscious. Turvu.
And now I'll be slashing at Nihilus.
That will not be hitting, unfortunately. I just hit the wrong thing. Go on. There we go. So where are you? I just had you. Where are you? I literally just... Okay, there. Okay. So, that was you. They miss. I was looking for Rufus's stats, I'm sorry. Nihilus swings at Turvu with his sword. And Rufus leans over top going, I will not let you dishonor Saint Cuthbert. As he brings down his weapon. There, and then minus that for size, then that for size. Hitting there with his now magical mace, which is now large size. For ow. As he just stands up going, and brings the mace down, nearly taking Nihilus out in one hit. Tonatium.
Carlin's out, and Nihilus. So now I'm going to start focusing on... Uh-oh.
That's a critical hit there. Which means I ask the same thing I always ask. Do you want it? Yes,
I
you
don't,
do.
but it sounds amusing, so go for it.
Roll me the D10,000.
Magic, great.
48, 28. So at first, as you swing the acid towards you, it seems strange as it's this thick black goo, and it hits him, and he goes, ugh, and nothing seems to happen. Twig.
Twig will 5-foot shift to do a full attack claw. Claw.
Hit. Hit.
Claw. Bite.
Hit. 15, 15, 15.
I mean, I am rolling the damage for formality, but I think we established at this point he can't hit above.
Yeah, he's going to deal 3 damage. Turvu.
I will smack. I will hit him again with my star knife.
Okay.
I should attempt. Am I flunking with Kitty now?
Yes.
Kitty.
That hits. Da 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 da. Rufus panting goes, and shrieks down, and then leans over, grabbing Turvu by the back and accidentally pulling off your hood. Thank you, oh God! Saint Cuthbert, bless me. What is? Oh God! Oh.
Oh, you're right, good sir.
Funk. He passed out. Turvu's hood is down. Horns visible.
As quickly as I can, pull my head back over. That went well.
Could have been better. We missed one.
Did we?
There was a fourth masked person on the rooftops. She shot an arrow through the deserter. Good job out there, Twig.
Yeah, good job, Twig, I will say, with beak with animal.
I kicked ass, yes. I don't know. Twig's yours. You get to decide how Twig actually responds with speak with animal.
Yeah, Mur, I can understand Twig. I have at will speak with animal.
Don't patronize me.
Jerry will step over to Rufus and check if he's alright.
He took a pretty solid beating. He only has 1 hit point remaining. It's all non-lethal damage, but he has 1 hit point remaining. He seems to have passed out due to shock of, oh God, a tiefling! The devil's own!
Terror will cast Cure Light Wounds on him.
Okay. And having received any magical healing, all of his wounds will disappear. And with it, Rufus will just kind of open his eyes. Oh, what happened? Oh. I must have taken a blow harder than I thought. By St. Cuthbert himself, I could have sworn that you were some sort of hellish devil spawn. But you saved my life. I do verily think you did.
Sorry about that. My mask is can appear a bit frightening in the dark.
Aye, the smoke is in effect. I take it helps you make some money. You're a performer or some such?
I'm a jeweler.
Well, I am Rufus Laro. I am junior priest at the Temple of St. Cuthbert. On my way back from ministering to the children at the orphanage. You know, they've been suffering quite a bit since their fellow orphans went missing.
Yeah, we heard about that at the tavern. That's why we came here. We wanted to go and see if we could help out in any way.
You were going to the orphanage at this time of night? Ooh, that sounds like a great way to have the madam sick patches on you.
Patches?
Oh, Patches is harmless, but if the madam six patches on you, Patches are gonna kick you straight back out on the street.
I think I can handle an animal.
Well, that's a little bit rude. I mean, I understand most people... No, I understand. I understand that most people don't think much of half-orcs, but it's very rude to call them animals.
A half-orc? I thought you were talking about like a guard dog or something.
Oh, Patches is the custodian. Sometimes he'll come by, help clean up the temple. Nice fella. Don't mess with him though. He will be able to pick everyone here up by the scuffs of our necks and toss us on the street, all at once even.
Meanwhile, I shall be using the appraise skill to check out the arrow that's been shot into the back.
The arrow itself is a standard, regular, everyday arrow. The thing that seems to have hit the individual most thoroughly was the poison on the arrow. The poison and the fact that the arrow slid right in between two vertebrae directly into like the brainstem, killing the person instantly, and if it didn't, delivering this deadly toxin directly to the base of the brain.
Boy. Well, at least it was instant.
As I'm talking through this, I'll be picking up my star knife that I threw.
Yep.
Oh, glad to see you're up.
Right.
So it seems that there was one of them on the rooftops, but she walked away during the middle of the fight.
I didn't see them. I saw the three of them. These three. They accosted me, pulled me into the alley, and started beating me, insisting that I not visit the orphanage anymore.
They're thieves from the last laugh.
Indeed they are. Or I might think they were.
Thought I was told that they were out of work earlier this evening, I say as I look towards Terra.
Out of work? Who said that? The last laugh has been growing in power for months now. Practically wiped out all of the rival thieves guilds in the city. Yeah. But this gentleman here, he's pointing at Curlin. I didn't get a look at his face earlier because he wasn't beating me, but he leans over and he wipes off the makeup with a hand, revealing a face that he recognizes. This man's one of the members of the town guard.
What?
Yeah.
The town guard.
Pretty sure he is.
What about this other man?
He wipes it off of him. I recognize him too, I think. I know that one. That one's Curlin Ree. I don't know this man.
What about this last person? I say as I turn him over and attempt to remove the makeup.
The makeup comes off very easily. Like it was just tossed on. He looks over and goes, I think I've seen him with Curlin before also, but I don't recognize anyone but Curlin directly. See, I think Curlin and Nihilus are still alive.
Yeah, this one's dead. Shot right in a weak point, and the arrow was poisoned anyway, so even if he had survived the shot, he wouldn't have much to live. Shame, really.
Whoever killed him must have been a skilled assassin.
But you said they are just supposed to be thieves, right?
Yeah, they are wearing the makeup of the thieves of the last laugh. But I wouldn't understand why a guard would be a part of it.
Well, these other two seem to be still alive. Perhaps one of them can enlighten us. I don't suppose either of you have a way to restrain someone.
Fortunately, no. Best I can do is try to tie a knot with these robes.
You're taking off your robes and tying them up with them?
Maybe I'll have a sash that's a rope and attempt to restrain them that way.
Okay, so you guys kind of getting into your not quite your underwear, but your undershorts and your wife beater sort of thing to tie them up.
I'm gonna see if we can check his body to see if their bodies to see if they have any rope on them.
So each of them has a longsword, their suit of leather armor, and a pouch with 10 gold pieces. But the gold pieces aren't standard cauldron coins. Standard cauldron coins have a sort of image of the city on one side and the face of the Lord Mayor on the other. These have two masks, like drama masks. One side has a smile, the other side has a frown. But each of them has 5 of those mask gold coins. And their longsword.
No.
And their leather armor. I'm sorry?
They have no ropes. I'll at least take their longswords away from them.
Okay. Rufus says, "All right. Who should I bring to consciousness? I can only cast one more spell today, unfortunately."
Well, you seem to know Curlin, so...
He leans
Since you
over.
seem to know it, you might have a better chance of finding something out.
Okay. He leans over and heals Curlin for enough to bring him up to consciousness. As Curlin opens his eyes, he sees Turvu with the long swords, Donatium with the cats, and Rufus. And Rufus has a look of disappointment You know, the way only, like, a deacon can get. Rufus. Rufus. Rufus looks around and goes, let me go, or face the wrath of the last laugh. And he just spits up at you, Turvu.
Give it up. We can tell you're not part of them.
Well, what do you mean?
Who's that woman on the roofs?
What woman on the roof? There was no woman on the roof. None at all.
Oh yeah? And how do you explain that? I say as I point towards Helen.
Yeah, he also is definitely full of shit. He leans over, he looks, he goes, You killed Hylam? You killed Hylam?
Look at us. None of us has bows.
You get shit.
That's an arrow kill.
Jill, what the fuck did you do, Jill? Shit. No one was supposed to get hurt. Why did you interfere? Why, you good do-gooders? It could have been done. Easy.
Oh,
why do you keep wanting people to stay away from the orphanage?
Man, I was just paid, man. Joe came by, hired me, hired my buddies, you know, we just had to send a clear message to the Church of St. Cuthbert not to investigate the children's disappearance. Okay? I mean, we need the money, man. Everyone needs the money these days. And, you know, we didn't have to kill anybody. No one was supposed to get hurt. You know, rough him up a bit. You know, beat the crap out of him. It's fine. He's a cleric. He'll be okay. And then, you know...
And you don't think the people that's gone missing might have gotten hurt?
They're probably just dead. I mean, people get killed, go missing all the time. We're talking whores. We're talking orphans for the most part. You know, scum. I mean, sure, there was like that jeweler and like that bookseller, but I don't know what shady shit they were involved in. And it ain't really... I ain't sticking my neck out on that on a frickin' slave's wage.
You're the worst kind of scum.
Yeah. Says the pervert in the weird mask.
Pervert?
Get off. Looking all spooky. Why don't you show me your face, you coward? Spits at you.
Do you really want to see my face? I'm not sure you can handle it.
Sure, show me your face, then I'll know who to look for.
Turu will pull off his mask in a way that Rufus can't see, but, Curlin can.
Curlin's gonna stop. Curlin's sneer's gonna disappear. And I'm gonna call you Tony, Antonio.
Okay.
No, Tonatium. I'll get there. Tonatium.
Eventually.
Yeah. Tonatium, you can see Rufus look very concerned as Curlin's face just contorts in terror. Oh gods. I'm sorry, oh gods.
And then I will put my mask back on. So, how about you comply with us and nothing bad'll happen?
I've told you all I know, okay? Jill came in, you know, offered me 5 gold and 5 gold for 2 friends if I could bring them by to rough him up, okay? That's all I know.
Who is this Jill person?
She's part of the last laugh, no joke. Okay, she's like some like mid-level operator or something. We've arrested her a couple of times, and you arrest her, she gets put into custody, someone pays her bail, and then all the paperwork just cleans up, there's no trial, nothing. When I see her, I'm like, shit, she's coming for vengeance or something, but just to hire me, like, I mean, I wouldn't mess with her. Let us go. Nothing. We won't say nothing to nobody. Rufus furrows his brow. We should turn them over to the town guards. They did violate the law.
But because it's one of their own, do you think they'll actually do anything?
Whether or not they respect the law is not as important to me as us respecting the law. Rufus just kind of walks over to the front and cups his mouth and starts shouting, "Guards! Guards!" And Curlin's just looking nervous. Sorry?
While he's doing that, Turvu will lean down in Curlin's face. Now, if I catch you doing things you're not supposed to again, there will be reckoning.
Yes, sir. And you can hear a couple guards coming by saying, "What's up? Rufus. Priest Rufus, what's going on?" Do either of you do anything?
I'll bring Curlin forward.
Rufus says, "Thank you. These two gentlemen," he points to Curlin and to Nihilus, they were assaulting me earlier. These two gentlemen," he points to Tonatium and Tervu, "they came by and interceded and helped us. Unfortunately, the third member of the assailants' party was shot by a fourth member, who then fled. I need to turn them over to you." Guards say, "Assault, eh? Let's see, Curlin? Nihilus? Shit. These troublemakers? We'll take them into custody. Can guarantee they're not going to get off scot-free. 50 gold piece fines. Thanks for bringing this to our attention." And the guards take these two away. Well, Rufus says, that was quite an adventure. 150 XP for each of you right now.
Yay!
Rufus is still kind of breathing heavily. "I know that you've healed me. I don't think I've got your names."
Yeah, you may call me Tonatium. If that's a bit too difficult, then Tona or Tony would suffice.
Tonatium. Thank you.
My name is Turvu Fabre.
Mr. Fabre? Mr. Tonatium? Thank you. I need to give you something for gratitude, but I don't have anything really on me. Would you come to me with to the church?
Of course.
Sure.
Thank you. And so, Rufus leads you to the Temple of St. Cuthbert. Temple of St. Cuthbert is number 7 on the map. Way up there. Farewell, Twig. You can stay there. So the Temple of St. Cuthbert. It is actually... It's a pretty nice place. He leads you in. There's a pair of statues by the door holding swords and watching forward while there's braziers burning to either side. The main temple has rows and rows of fine wooden pews looking up to an altar, upon which is the holy symbol of St. Cuthbert, a mace standing upright. And as he comes in, he says, Thank you again. So I should owe you a little bit. Let's see. First, while we're on the way, do you want to have a chat with him on the way there? Because it's a bit of a walk.
So, Rufus, why were you doing around the orphanage area in the first place? Were you also investigating the disappearances?
No, I was ministering. Jenya, my... I'm the DM, I can't talk. Jenya, the, currently the acting senior priestess, while Father Corsten is out of town on business. She is doing some investigations, but I was just there to minister. After a traumatic experience like this, people, especially children, need someone to talk to, someone to confide their feelings in. That's really the primary role of a cleric. It's less about bringing down justice and hellfire on the damned as it is caring for the flock.
Isn't that a nice thought?
Yeah. It is. It's a bit sad. One of the missing orphans is the child of Dwen and Ermergen's Storm Shield. His parents died just a couple of years back. Left him to stay with some friends one evening while they handled a job and never returned. Poor Deacon. But yes. I'm sorry.
I know about a woman named Everdon.
Everdon? She's one of the people who's missing. I think Jenya keeps some fairly detailed notes. I don't know all of their names, but that is one of them, I do believe.
She was one of the women that were working at the orphanage.
No, she didn't work at the orphanage.
She didn't?
No, she was a... No, I've ministered to the orphanage for nearly 4 years now. I'd have known her if she worked at the orphanage.
Strange. Would I have been another orphanage then?
It's possible. Most of the orphanages in town are quite small. We're here. Come in. I'll go look through my personal supplies, find some appropriate reward. If you'll wait here.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
And here is the front of the temple. And you can hear some voices on the far other side of the door for a moment. I don't know if you want to eavesdrop or not.
Okay.
I think Twig will.
Twig, you naughty cat. Twig can't quite make out their voices. So, is there anything that you wish to do as you're standing here waiting in kind of this front hall of the temple?
So, is this your first time visiting the temple?
Yeah.
Same for me. I usually go to the Temple of Paylor.
And I worship, Oladamra.
Well, a woman's voice says as she steps through, no one's perfect. I hear that you two are the ones who saved Rufus. It's a middle-aged woman. She looks to be in her upper 40s. She's beginning to go gray. Very firm, stern face. Wonderful. She holds out a hand to shake with you, Tonatium.
I'll shake it.
I thank you very much. I take it that you are Mr. Tonatium?
Yes.
Excellent. And as she turns to look at Turvu, she goes, St. Cuthbert's gaze reveal the wicked who stand before me. And she looks at you for a moment and then goes, well, Rufus will be glad to know that he was indeed hallucinating. He was concerned that you might be some sort of demon spawn in disguise. I am Genya Urikas. And while Father Corsten is out of town, and Brother Alec is busy seeing to his affairs in Red Gorge, I suppose I'm in charge here. Please, there's no need to sit out here in the cold of the entryway. Come with me. And she leads you through, past the altar, over to a curtain in the side. And I unlocked the wrong room, I'm sorry. You don't see that room.
Okay.
You see that room. She just walks you out on in here. Come in, take seats, take seats. You are capable, says Rufus. I wonder, are you possibly interested in entertaining a proposal regarding the orphanage?
I don't have many options open at the moment, so yes, I am kind of open.
Very well. So, as you may have heard, there are some rumors about kidnappings over the last 6 months or so, yes?
Some of the rumors go to say that they've been going on for at least a year.
So it seems. Well, the most recent abductions were a little odd. Normally it's one or maybe two adults swept away in the night. 3 nights ago, 4 children disappeared all at once from the Lantern Street Orphanage. Deacon, Evelyn, Lucinda, and Taram. Now, we help fund this orphanage. We're very familiar with its layout. It has 2 bedchambers on its second floor. One for boys, one for girls. Each locks at night. Each has its own private chamber pots. And 2 children were taken from each room. The rooms remained locked. No children or resident staff heard or saw anything. The orphanage has barred windows. It has excellent locks on the doors. They're locked to keep any mischief from happening. Well, just a few hours before sundown, we formally made a vow publicly to find the missing children and bring the kidnappers to justice. So, to wit, I have taken something from our vault. She opens up a locked cabinet behind her and takes out a large white mace that seems to be made out of marble and alabaster. The steel is as pure white as a wedding gown. And she lays it down before you on the table. Only Father Corsten is supposed to use this, but in his absence, I felt justified in calling upon the mace's power. And I asked it, where are the children abducted from the orphanage? And it answered me. Map, player visible, reveal the fog of war, vision off, tool enforce to map, tool center on current view, as she lays down a little note that she's written on the table. And there it is.
It's a black screen.
Move her a bit to the left and up.
Oh, there we go. The locks are key to finding them. Look beyond the curtain, below the cauldron. Beware the doors of teeth. Descend into the malachite hold, where precious life is bought with gold. Half a dwarf binds them, but not for long.
Yes. So, I believe that the first line is the key to finding them, but I have no idea which locks it might be referring to. Possibly the locks at the orphanage, but I don't know. I admit when I made my oath to the city, I expected the divination from the staff to provide more information. The Star of Corriston will hold up the Star of Justice and then speak with certainty what happens. And I don't know if that's just because he's trained to interpret these things, or if it recognizes I'm unworthy and is purposefully cryptic. But nonetheless, this is what we have. And it's just Rufus, myself, and a handful of acolytes. Would you be willing to look for them?
Well, that's why we were going to their orphanage in the first place.
Very well. She smiles. So there are 4 missing orphans. I would like to offer you 500 gold pieces for each orphan you return alive. Plus another 500 gold pieces for learning what happened to them. If you cannot bring them to me alive and you have to bring them to me dead, I can give you 200 gold pieces per remains that you bring of the orphans. Is this acceptable?
Yes, ma'am.
If all goes well, then I will be able to finish this job. Of course. This is more than acceptable.
Wonderful. Please accept this as a token of good faith. She takes the mace and puts it back in that locked cabinet behind her chair, and she takes out another single vial, a small potion that's decorated with the holy symbol of St. Cuthbert. Please take this potion of cure moderate wounds as a token of faith. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I say as I take the potion.
And if you want the information on kidnapped victims, I have a copy here of the information gathered by the town guard.
That would be useful.
Boop-a-doo.
Oh dear. Pixelated script. No.
It's pixelated?
Well, part of it is. It depends on how much I zoom in or... But not like Mosaic pixelated, like... It's readable, but it's like a bit hard for me.
It might be an artifact of being transferred over the internet. Let me see if I can send you the documents directly over Discord. So we're there. Nope. Apparently, I didn't actually keep them. I just dropped them in there and then deleted them. Let me see. Let me pull them up. I don't want to send you the ones in my notes because that has GM information. There we go. I'll put a site in the Shackled City chat that has a list of the kidnapping victims.
Thank you.
The person doing this has a different date. He's running things on the 5th of Patchwall. I'm running on the 15th of Reaping, so adjust the dates accordingly. I don't think those dates are terribly important. But yeah, she says, if there's anything else you need, feel free to let me know. And hopefully next time we play, they will be clearer for you.
Hopefully.
So, with that, Jinya nods and says, I must retire for the evening. I wish you the best of luck. She goes back into that cabinet and takes the mace out of it as she leaves. Apparently, not distrusting you, but also not trusting you alone with the mace, because it's very valuable. Leaving you alone in the meeting area there. Just realized I could have used the other meeting area. Oh well. So yeah, that's where you stand. Do you guys want to take like a 5-minute break to use the restroom at this point? Digest
Yes,
any
please.
documents? Cool. Let me source text BRB toilet break. Put that right over the center of everything. And I'm going to mute myself so that they don't hear me going splish splash in the toilet, and I'll be back shortly. Well, I'm back.
Back to
Yay. I checked the state of the stream. Apparently we had 2 people watching at one point, but now we don't have anyone that Twitch recognizes officially as a person. But I do see all the names of my usual watchers, who I think might be like random internet bots, because they never interact. Whew.
Alright, I'm back.
Woohoo. Any thoughts, questions, or concerns thus far?
I'm not sure if I can solve this mystery.
Well, there's no way of knowing until you try, right? Tonatium, tonatium, tonatium. It's beginning to get there. It's beginning to get there. It's beginning to get there.
Almost.
Huh?
Almost. Even I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to say that, to be honest.
It's fantasy. You can say it how you want to.
I did not expect Twig sticking Twig on people to like work out as well as it did.
I had to double check their combat stats because I was pretty sure when you sent him after him that he was just going to be like fucking cat and stab it with a sword.
I mean, I did cast shield on the cat.
I did not catch that.
I said that on turn 1, but maybe I failed to specify that it was I cast it on the cat.
No, I just didn't catch it. Yeah, it's fine.
just think later on he'll be able to do more than 1 damage because I'll get my my performance skill up.
Just think, he's a familiar, not an animal companion. He's not supposed to be dealing damage. He's supposed to be gathering information and coming back to you and being like, the guys are there, there, and there, so you know where to cut off the exits with walls of fire when you raise up your illusionary dragon and scare people into the hallways to burn and die.
Yeah. Cut off their escape with barriers made of pure sound.
Well, I'm not familiar with familiars.
Ha 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 ha.
I think this is technically the 3rd time I'm using one.
I don't think
First
I was
time was-
ready for that joke. Ha 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 ha. So,
I guess it is really late in the night.
yeah, at this point it is getting close to like 10 o'clock at night or so. Most folk are well at bed. This is getting to be like Tarvu's standard time of night, though. Where you can run through the shadows.
Oh, shadow in the night.
Yeah.
So I guess you're still going to keep going for the rest of the night?
Possibly. Though I doubt any of the locations would be open for questioning, so...
Perhaps if we take a look around the scene, we might be able to retrace steps of the one who escaped.
So you want to go back to the alley to try to track down the person who escaped?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get back to the alley. You can see that the body of the dead guard is gone, as well as the others. There's a little bit of dust, a little bit of like dirt that's been tossed over the bloodstain on the floor. Make things a little bit less immediately obvious that something bad happened.
I
And
think I would like Twig to climb up the roof to where Jill was standing.
Okay, make a climb check, Twig.
Yay, climb check.
This is a brick wall. Twig can't climb a brick wall. What are you, crazy?
It's okay, Twig. I'll help you give you a boost.
How
Are you gonna throw Twig on top of the roof?
high up is the roof?
Oh, maybe 12, 15 feet. It's a small little one-story house.
Well, let's try again.
Do you have solid note?
What does that do?
I can produce a note that I can then move to wherever I want, and it stays there. And it has a strength equal to 10 plus my caster level and can hold all that weight. Or can hold the heavy load for that weight. You can use it as like a little hook to climb up things. Not like a hook, but like climbing out like if you had a rope. You need a rope.
Cats typically weigh 5 to 15 pounds and fully grown.
The cat can be on the note, and then you can push the note up. That is entirely a viable thing. So what note do you play?
I will play a nice smooth double note, so he has a really good hold.
So something like vada vada vada.
Just a little hum from my voice.
So like
Because my performance is sing.
So like da 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 da. So yeah, you got a nice little, eighth note pair. And everyone starts humming.
I was trying to hum what I remembered. I was trying to hum what I remembered of the mix.
Meow 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 meow. I assume you do this humming quietly so as not to disturb the people sleeping in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Kitty gets up there, note gets pushed, Kitty gets up to the roof. No checks involved for a clever solution involving literal magical notes. So what is Twig doing up there on the roof?
Hopefully it hasn't been too long, but perhaps Twig can catch the scent of the person.
Okay. Let's go ahead and survival check from Twig. Because that is what tracking is. Well, I'll be damned. Twig does pick up a trail that heads down the roof to the next building over. Twig can see where she leapt through the air across the alley, a good 15-foot leap. That Twig probably can't follow, but if Twig really wants to, Twig can attempt it.
Yeah, Twig's not doing that. Twig doesn't want to do more work than required.
Twig may also make a perception check.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, Twig is pretty much done with that. Aware that you hurried from that building, leapt over to the next one. How long does that little musical note last?
Concentration and then one run per level afterwards.
Are you still concentrating?
Yeah, I'll keep it up.
Okay. Then, Twig hops down onto the note, slides down, leaps off, lands, deftly on the ground as cats do.
Doesn't seem like we can follow, but hopefully Twig managed to memorize the scent.
Make an intelligence check for Twig.
Let's see, the base intel is 6, so I don't know the modifier for that.
6 is -3 or -4, I think. It's -3.
Nope. Twig didn't give a shit. Twig found a scent, Twig followed it, Twig went like, nope, and then just left and came down. Too bad.
You still humming?
No, I'll end it.
Okay, because I was about to do something ridiculous if you did.
You have one round. You have one round after he stops humming.
Too late. He stops concentrating, so I don't know how much longer we can get away with it.
And the note floats away in the night.
Next goes.
Now I prefer to think of the note just floats away into the night going, So that someone on the other side of the city is like, oh no, she left me. I feel so sad. And then there's a and you're like, what? So yeah. Seems to be no hint of where this Jill person ran off to. Such sadness, such sorrow.
Surely you still had some contacts in the last laugh.
What makes you think I was part of the last laugh?
You seem to have been confident in commanding them.
I know of them, but I'm not a part of them.
It's like going up to a crypt and being like, you surely have some contacts in the Bloods. I've dated myself with that joke.
Question, Kit.
We got answer. Let's see if they match.
So, when I'm reading the list of the kidnapped peoples, what about Maple? So it says Maple was rumored to be associated with the Alley Bashers. Would I know her?
Let me double check my GM notes, which have the truth and falsehood of such things. You're looking for Mabel?
Yeah, Maple. Maple, female halfling, age 32.
Yes. She was one of the... So there's power structures in every organization, and, you know, she's a little older than you. She's always felt she's more important than you. But yeah, no, that is a name you'll recognize. She was kind of like a den mother to some of your people. Not exactly the friendliest, but also not exactly the most cruel, you know?
Yeah.
A no-nonsense sort of person. Think Damsel, right? From Vampire Bloodlines, if you've played that game.
Yep.
You need to play that game so you'll get my references. But, you know, a tough, no-nonsense, excuse me, you know, little bitch, what are you talking about? These government people and their conspiracies to hold power? You know, kind of radical. Radical halfling gal. But yeah, she has gone missing. You had assumed when she hadn't shown up that she just stopped showing up like everyone else, but yeah, that's a name on your missing list that you recognize.
Now that I know, and I know that now it's personal.
I would like to make a linguistics check to figure out if there's like some sort of pattern among these kidnappings.
That's an interesting thing. She's looking for like a pattern in the names?
Perhaps a pattern, perhaps the pattern of their ages.
Sure, go ahead and make a check. So, well, there's really no pattern in the names or the ages, except for the fact that the youngest people were the most recently abducted. Like, most of the people abducted seem to be in their mid to late 20s to early 30s, kind of as your average thing. But that's kind of the end of where they are on that. Like, there's no real pattern to the names that you can tell. And you'd be able to tell if there were. And at present, as far as you can also tell that there doesn't seem to be really a pattern of locations.
The locks are key to finding them. Look beyond the curtain below the cauldron. Beware of the doors of teeth. Descend into the Malachite's hold. For precious life is bought with gold. Half a dwarf binds him, but not for long. Do you know anything about the curtain and the cauldron? Do you think it's referring to the city cauldron or like some literal cauldron?
Well, the city does have a lot of underground passages.
And they said the locks were not unlocked. But I wonder if they may have been tampered with.
Well, we won't be able to find that out as we gotta see for ourselves.
Yeah, but it is pretty late. Do you think they'll respond to anyone investigating?
Not at this time of night. Rufus said we'd probably just be thrown out.
That's not a pleasant thought.
How about we just go and investigate in the morning?
Oh, you guys are in the alley, right?
Yes.
So you are actually down there. Okay. So you're going to take a break for the night, meet up in the morning?
Yeah.
Are you going to go your separate ways, go together? What?
By the way, do you actually have a proper place to stay?
I have something livable. It's not really a house, but I doubt someone would come in. So, that should be fine.
All right, then.
All right, then.
I guess we'll go our separate ways when we reach when we reach my home street.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay. I need you to make a D100 roll, Mal, as you brave the sewers once more. Well, shit. Please give me a D20. Please make me a diplomacy check. This will have happened in the past with this group. Make a perception check. Okay. So as you're heading through the sewers towards your place, you see in the distance a group of a group of irritated people kind of spinning around, ranting. A group of people you recognize as the Bronze Claw. A group of were-rats that you drove out of one of your hideouts under there a couple years ago with your team, and they hate you. You see 9 of them there, just leaning back, chittering, their half-rat forms grotesque against the sewer. The alley bashers are gone. Mostly, we're reclaiming the sewers. They're ours. We'll find where that Turvu is hiding, and we'll chew the marrow from his bones. Fuck, I already forgot the name I just made up for these guys. I like them now, and I don't remember what I called them. The Brass Hide. We'll call them that. So what do you do, Turbo?
Just try to skirt around them, not get involved.
Okay, you can do so and get back to your place without any problems. I'm not going to have you solo a pack of 9 were-rats at level 1. What do you think I am, evil? Yeah. Night falls. Day rises. What do you all wish to do?
Any dreams?
Ooh, that is... thank you for reminding me. I forgot you're that person.
The dream haunted soul.
So let me... Real quick, because actually I do believe the answer will be yes. You stand someplace dark and cold. You cannot see, as the darkness has consumed you. But you know that it's dark, because you feel one with the darkness. As the light begins to filter through your senses, you see an immense cavern of stone. The light comes from cages holding writhing, insect-like monsters that give off a soft red glow. Before you is a boy, less than a decade old. His black, unkempt hair falls in front of his face. He shakes it away, and you see his eyes glistening with tears running down his freckled face. You've never seen him before, but you feel him. You feel him as if you know who he is. And you look down at yourself, at your hands, and see that you're a sort of strange, gray humanoid with writhing tentacles on your back. The boy, Tarum, that's his name, Tarum. He seems to notice you as right now, and he screams. His scream is a pain in your ears that causes you a discomfort, and all you can think about is making the screaming stop. And you look back to the child, and you see him still screaming, his eyes burning out, smoke floating around him, and he dissolves. He dissolves into dozens and dozens of disembodied eyes that float around you, each eye screaming as it's writhed in green flames, spewing out noxious black smoke. And as the smoke fills the cavern, you can see the eyes forming the shape of the boy, and he keeps screaming louder and louder. And you wake up with a start. Your tears have turned to blood. If you make a... yeah. So, yeah. Yay! Cheerful nightmare!
Ugh. That's scary. I don't want to know where this dream goes.
Thank you for reminding me that you're that character, because I love these dreams. That said, you often appear in your dreams to be this gray humanoid with tentacles coming out of its back when you see yourself. It's a fairly common dream for you to have. So yeah, next morning, what do you do?
I'd probably head back over to Tony GM's house.
Okay. Give me that D100 roll for your sewer trip. You get there without any problems. Although once you get to the surface, you can see that like, townsfolk and guards are looking at you a little more like, isn't it early for a street performer? But since you seem to be walking with purpose, they don't really bother you. As you arrive at Tonatium's door.
Twig is out on the balcony.
Twig sees Turvu approaching.
Hey, Twig, can you let me in? Or, get to the DM?
What is it, Twig? I'm prepping the spells. Oh. Yeah, didn't expect to see you this early in the morning.
Did you wash the blood off your face, Turvu?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you would have seen I had my mask on.
I'll unlock the door.
Well, so the blood that you cried, it was like, you know how you see sometimes that people have those long tears that go all the way down their cheeks?
Yeah.
It was like that, but blood.
Mm.
Which, of note, is something that has not happened to you before.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Nightmares, tentacles, those are normal. Waking up with blood on your face, that's not. Yeah. I'll shut up and let you two get back to role-playing.
Come in. I don't have any customers these days.
I'll come inside and I actually will take off my mask just so I can have a nice, more comfortable conversation.
Twig, keep watch on the balcony, would you?
Have you ever taken off your mask in front of Tonatium before?
Yep.
Cool.
Let's go upstairs. We can discuss things there.
There.
Candelabra burns with the last 3 candles.
So I'll take out my spell book and continue prepping them as I ask. So, what should we do about the investigation?
Mm-hmm. Well, we should definitely head back to the orphanage and check and see if their locks have been tampered with in any way. We could also head to any of the locations where people disappeared and see if there's any more information over there.
I'm trying to look up something real quick, see if the spell works.
Silence. The most entertaining thing to have in a audio-only D&D stream.
Scribble, I say as I'm writing down what appears to be pictures in my spell book.
Wait, you actually rewrite the spells in your spellbook every day? Do they vanish when you cast them?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like there's like basics for like all spells, but like I need to power them up in order to.
Cool. So like you have your spell book, and then like the next page you like have to copy the spell over, and then it like wipes from the book as well as your mind. That's cool.
Since some of these since some of the victims had relatives, I was thinking of using discern next of kin so we can learn more about their identities and see if we could find them. It'd be easier to, like, single them out if we happen to come across a group. Not sure if it would work for the orphans, but they did say one of them had dead parents.
Well, they all had dead parents. They're orphans.
So you actually have to be with a person.
Yes.
You learn where they are and how they feel towards the person.
Of course, there's one kind of limit. They can only know what the target knows or believes.
So that's not going to help you find people.
Yes. It can help me identify people, but not find them. Not sure. Perhaps it's best to just start at the orphanage. I say as I close the book. Finished?
Yeah, seems like a best bet.
I can only afford loaves of bread. Small loaves these days, but would you like half?
Oh, sure.
I say as I pass him half. Really do hope we find the victims' families. Or like the victims.
Let's hope they're alive, too, especially the kids.
Yeah, it's just... It's a shame that everyone seems to be whispering, but not enough people seem to care enough to make an effort.
Yeah, sadly that's the case when it comes to orphans.
Come on, Twig. We got stuff. We got places to look for.
And how are you this fine morning?
Alright, time to start looking at the orphanage.
Yay! So you head to the orphanage. Map. Player visible. Outside of the orphanage. You can let me know when you've all loaded up.
I loaded up.
Okay. As you approach, you can see an obese dwarf with a long, really long braided mustache, working to tend to some plants that are in planters along the wall, humming to himself. Hum, 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 hum.
I'll walk over to it.
Oh, good day. Good day. Good day.
Good day. I was hoping to ask you a few questions.
Well, I suppose you can ask. Don't know if I can answer much unless they're about whether petunias or bedalias are better for the climate. The answer is, of course, try to use a weed like a daffodil. They stand up much better. Haha.
Strange. Well, I was hoping you'd enlighten us more about the kidnapping victims.
Then he turns to you and he makes the sign of Ouijas over his heart. Oh dear, I don't want any trouble or any ill fortune. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Have a wonderful day. And he hurries off to go tend to some plants a little further down.
Well, I guess we can check Terrify the Gardener off our list. Let's see if we can head on inside.
There is a door.
Knock, knock, knock.
The door opens slightly, and a older halfling woman peeks out. Yes? She looks at you, furrows her brow with suspicion. Who sent ya?
The Church of St. Cuthbert.
St. Cuthbert? I've never heard of a St. Cuthbert.
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert. St. Cuthbert, eh? Do you have any proof?
No.
So, for all I know, you could be some pedophiles coming to molest my children. They've had enough troubles already. Good day, sir. Slam.
Please, ma'am, we're trying to help find the missing children.
Would you make a diplomacy check?
Diplomacy.
You hear sort of a rattling, and then she says, come in, as she opens the door. Sorry about my attitude. There's been a lot of troubles lately. The children are quite upset. I don't want you to bother them much. You understand me? She shuts the door.
I understand.
The orphanage itself is quite large here in the lobby. A lot of openings. She smiles. Yes, well, as you can see, I'm interested in keeping the children safe. Most of the orphanage has no interior doors, so that there can be no mischief. Only the bedchambers lock, but they lock only at night, and the boys in one and the girls in the other. So, what are you here to know?
We were hoping to find clues on how they were kidnapped. You said the locks were still locked, right?
Yeah, the locks were locked when we went to the evening. Patches said that he locked them, and I trust him. And when Willow came by in the morning and unlocked them to let them know that it was time for school, they were still locked.
Could they have been tampered with in any way?
I don't see how they were. The guards seem to think they hadn't been.
What kind of lock was it?
Oh, the very finest locks. I spare no expense for the safety and well-being of my children. Gelv's locks are the only locks that will do. They're the best.
Can I do a profession merchant to know more about these locks?
Sure, go
Or
ahead.
would this be
Go ahead. That would be a wonderful check to make here. So Gelv, you've heard that name. Keegan Gelv is the premier locksmith in Cauldron. Like, we're talking, you want to spend 100 gold pieces on a lock? you talk to Keegan, and they're worth every copper. Like, his locks are supposedly completely unpickable. Yeah, yes. I use Keegan's locks. Charges a pretty penny, won't you know? Won't even give a discount for a public service. Heartless man. Heartless little gnome. But still, they are the best. And they are worth it. And I... She draws out the key. Carry the only key. I carry it on myself during the day. I carry it on myself during the night. I give it to Patches to lock the children in at bedtime, for they like to hear Patches tell his stories before bed. And I give it to Willow in the morning when she goes to get them up, and each returns it straightway to me when they're done.
So it's only one key for all these locks?
Yes. You have to understand, sirs. No one comes in or out of the orphanage without my knowledge. Many of these children are rescued from the blights of thievery, from the twisted clutches of such evil groups as the Alley Bashers and the Last Laugh. Saved from prostitution, I will not permit harm to come to them. She looks up at you, waving a finger. I will not. And I am... You can see her collecting herself, trying not to cry. I am deeply concerned that 4 of my children were taken without any warning, without any information, and without any trace.
Off the top of your head, do you know anyone who would want to take them?
No. Well, I mean, I can't say there were no hints. Andro thinks he saw something, but that boy has nightmares, and I think he's worried and concerned and confused and mixing his nightmare up with the other.
You think we can talk with him?
I suppose, but you'll make it quick. The town guard spoke with him, and then the next day you had those half-elf investigators working for the Lord Mayor. He's quite had enough stress.
We'll not stress him out at all, if we can.
Good. Now the GM remembered to make a token for everyone who worked here, except for the one boy you might want to interview. And so... I'm not using your token anywhere else, am I? I have to check. I am, so I can't use you. I'm using you. I am not using you. So yeah, she leads you off to a great sitting hall where there are lots of kids, not pictured, eating. One woman kind of walking back and forth, keeping everyone properly fed. You know, saying, don't, eat more slowly. We don't want you to choke. She leads you up the stairs. Into a hallway where you can see a one-eyed half-orc, shirtless and mopping the floor. And she says, Patches, where is Andro? And Patches goes, oh, he's in the He's in the room still. He's very worried. She goes, okay. So he's in the room still. I thought I told Willow to pull him out at all costs. She mutters to herself as she walks down here, where there's a pair of open doors, and she says, Andro, visitors, and then when you're done, you're coming down for your studies. He's like, but, I know. But you don't get over troubles by moping. He's right in here, come on. Well, I'll leave you two to it. Patches is right outside. If you cause any harm to my children, Patches will tear your arms off. Make sure to send him down when you're done. And she hurries back out on her way. The boy looks at the two of you. Hello.
Hello.
He seems to shy away from Turvu a little.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Tavern.
You're not going to eat my soul, are you?
Oh, of course not.
You're wearing the same cloak that the gnome wore.
The gnome?
Yeah, the night that everyone went missing. I saw a gnome, an evil gnome, with crooked teeth and a cloak just like yours, and he tried to eat my soul, tried to steal my breath. And he sat on my chest all the way till morning when he faded away.
Well, trust me, I'm not here to eat your soul. My outfit might look a bit scary, but I'm just a juggler.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I saw. I think the gnome may have eaten them too. And I was saved by the sunrise.
You mentioned she had a key?
Who had a key?
Never mind. I must have been hearing things.
It was a gnome with crooked teeth and a tattered cloak. And it came in and it woke me up by sitting on my chest, and it tried to suck out my soul. And the sun came up and it faded. He pats on the bed where he is. This was Taram's bed. If I sat here first, it would have eaten me instead of Taram. The boy starts to cry. Boy leans over, starts petting the cat. Oh, you're a cute cat. Achoo!
Be allergic. Is that all you saw the gnome do? Just walk into the room?
I didn't see it walk into the room. It woke me up when it climbed on my chest.
Can I make a knowledge arcana to figure out what he's talking about?
Sure. So, this isn't really an arcana thing, but you've read enough to recognize that what he's describing are symptoms of a sort of disease that some children get, where they wake up before they're finished dreaming, and they normally dream of monsters pinning them down because they can't move, and they have trouble breathing. You think that the boy is probably describing a bad dream he had.
I'm sorry. It must have been scary to go through that.
He says, yes. I've seen, and I know it's the gnome's fault, because the gnome has come a couple times before, and every time, Tarim was the one who chased the gnome away and held me and woke me up. And that's why I know it came, and it took Tarim first so it could get to me. He says, and I haven't slept. I haven't slept since they've been gone. I'm keeping awake. I'm keeping aware. So if it comes back, I can catch it. And you can see the circles under the poor boy's eyes.
Well, it's good to know that you try and stay awake and catch it, but make sure you get a little bit of sleep or you're not going to have the strength to.
Would you make a diplomacy check? He kind of looks at you and he says, "Are you sure you don't work for it? You've got the same tattered cloak and your eyes smoke."
As I said, I'm just a performer.
Well, I'll show you I'm plenty strong enough. He stands up and kind of raises his arms ready to punch you before he just kind of falls down on the floor and says, "I'm plenty strong enough. I'm plenty..."
Wow.
That's not what I wanted.
Hey.
He's not dying.
The poor boy's exhausted.
There we go.
Oh dear.
He just falls asleep on the floor.
I'll pick him up and put him back in the bed.
Okay? And you can remember, you're not gonna take me alive, gnome. Hang on a moment. There you go.
As Spring tries to get on to him and tries to make him sneeze, wake up by sneezing.
Don't wake him up.
Instead, poor cat gets grabbed by a sleeping kid as he rolls over.
Don't you wake the poor kid up.
Doesn't have enough grip to keep the cat, so the cat can get out.
Well, let's go and inform them that Andrea fell asleep and that maybe we should question some other people, like Patch.
I'm curious about that. Keegan? Was it Keegan with the locks?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, we can ask him some things too.
Hey Patch. The boys fell asleep. It seems that he was trying his best to stay up for the past few nights.
Well, I hope he gets a good rest. He's always been prone to nightmares.
Trust me, I know all about that.
Yeah. Normally,
I've actually read about...
Normally it's the soul gnome. Once he dreamed he was walking the streets of Cauldron, and he saw a creature that was like a tall gray man with tentacles on his back. And the creature saw itself in the mirror and ran away. That's an odd dream.
Yeah, very odd.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll be fine. I'll make sure that Gretchen doesn't get too upset. Mama Gretchen cares for us. That she does.
Do you have any information on what happened the night the kids got taken?
He furrows his brow and kind of shuffles uncomfortably. I said good night, and I told them the story. The story. Oh, they love the stories. It's about this fantasy fictional world and this town called Sandpoint and all these people that go on quests and save the city. It's a wonderful little tale. The children love it. But I read them the next chapter. Well, not the next chapter. I skipped one because there was this one really, really. I think it was far too scary for children, where the hero went crazy and like cut out an eye, and it was not fun. So I skipped that chapter and went to the next one where they went to go find the parts to forge the holy sword to save the world. And after that, I took the girls to their room. I locked the boys in. And I went to the girls and I locked them in as well. Made sure that anyone who needed help going to the bathroom had it. And then I went downstairs and returned the key to the mistress. To Mama Gretchen. He shuffles very uncomfortably as he's speaking. Yes.
Did the key ever leave your possession while you were doing this?
Oh, no. No, Mama Gretchen keeps the key on a little string, and I put it onto my neck and wore it during the storytelling, and then I had it when I locked the doors. He shuffles, and again, he looks very uncomfortable.
Is there a detail that's bothering you?
Ooh. There's nothing, well... Taram was one of my favorite children. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but he was always very smart, very clever. Clever man. Clever boy. Why? If he had better chances in life, I'm sure he would have grown up to be a wizard. Not going to have those chances here, unfortunately. He still looks quite uncomfortable.
Did Tavern do anything that night?
Oh. No. A few nights before Taram stole the storybook, he finished it before all the other children. He's the one who warned me that the chapter was a little too gruesome for kids. Nothing ever frightens that boy. Nothing ever does. He's such a very strong boy. He's very uncomfortable. Yes. Yes, that's it.
I'm sorry. We didn't mean to bring up such a hard subject.
I should tell him. I need to tell him. I need to tell you. I don't care if it hurts me. It's for the sake of the children. There's more to it. Taram wasn't just my favorite. He's the one they were paying me extra to keep an eye on.
Was he a troublemaker or something?
No. Not Mama Gretchen. Please don't tell Mama Gretchen. Please don't. She'll be so disappointed. It's... the last laugh. A couple years ago, shortly after Taram came here, Ravis Twin Daggers contacted me, and he's given me 50 gold pieces a year since, just to keep an eye on him. And yeah, so I have. I'm worried. I'm so worried that the last laugh is involved, that my keeping an eye on him and letting them know how he was doing is somehow the reason that everyone got taken.
I see. I'll come over and put a hand on his shoulder. Thank you for telling us. This helps us a lot, actually.
You have to find Taram. You have to bring Taram back. He's just... If you save him, if you meet him, you'll know what I mean. He's so clever, so brave.
Trust us. We will bring him and the rest of the kids back.
Oh, thank you, thank you. He drops his mop, goes over and just gives you a massive hug. And as he gives you a hug, he's like, rubs his head against you, pulls back, pokes at your horn a little, and says, "Oh my. Well," and he adjusts your hood a little bit to make it so that your horn's a little less visible. "It's okay, your secret's safe with me. I know what it's like."
Thank you.
Gives you a big toothy grin, his lower fangs just jutting out. Thank you, thank you. Please, save the children, won't you?
We will.
Thank you. And he picks up the mop and he goes back to mopping. And tell Mama Gretchen I didn't let you take him downstairs. He needs to sleep. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
And down you go. Is there anyone else in the orphanage you want to chat with?
I think I'm good, but I'm not sure about Trevu.
You think we should have a chat with Willow?
So Willow's actually here on your way coming downstairs. So you can actually see her as she's walking down, saying, "All right, now write it again. THE space SKY space IS space BLUE." And you see the kids sitting around rolling their eyes, writing on chalkboards. And she says, "And that says," and the kids say all together in unison, "The sky is blue." Good, good. I know it seems boring now, but writing is an important skill. And as you walk by, she looks and she waves a little bit. She leans over and says, "Now that's not a very good, that's not a really good Y. You can't tell the difference between it and a G. You need to do this." And she is helping the kid. What do you do?
I'll approach her.
Oh yes, you're one of the people from the temple.
Yes, thought it might be a good idea to ask you better questions.
Of course. Children, please practice your handwriting. We'll work on arithmetic when I get back. She says, "Let's go into my office." And
Sure.
she leads you down across the way into her office. Where Neva is actually playing with a few of the younger kids. And she says, "Neva, do you think it's a good time for the baths?" And she goes, "Yeah, I can." And she takes a couple of, 3 or 4-year-olds out. Says, "All right, what can I do for you?"
What did you notice when you unlocked the door in the mornings of the kidnapping?
She furrows her brow. The first thing I noticed was Andro, having one of his fits. They're very wild. He stands there stiff, eyes open, looking at the ceiling, screaming. The kids were all up, kind of rowdy, trying to get him under control. And the next thing I noticed is that Taram wasn't there. shaking him or comforting him. I had to do it, and I'm not as good as Taram is. To be honest, he frightens me when he's like that. And then I noticed Taram was missing, and then the others. I noticed. I noticed that Deacon was missing, and then I hurried across the way where the girls were, and the girls were still, asleep. They hadn't noticed the boys' commotion, and Evelyn was gone, and Lucinda was gone, and I admit I started screaming, and the girls woke up, and everyone was quite a mess, and Gretchen came, and they just disappeared in the middle of the night. Vanished. And I mean, I hadn't been paying attention to the rumors, but after I've looked them up, and they're all true. All the rumors. There's been so many people disappearing. I don't know what causes it.
How often does Andrew have those fits?
Oh, every so often. They're not too common. They're not too rare. I'd say usually once every 2 or 3 months. Sometimes more. He has horrible dreams almost every week.
Has he ever told you what kind of dreams he's had?
Oh, sometimes I think he has dreams. He tells me he has dreams about shadowy figures eating people. I think that's him processing when his parents died. They were rather unsavory sorts. They were killed about 2 years ago by a rival gang. Very sad. He has dreams. The gnome's a common dream. There was one silly dream he told me once. It didn't sound scary to him. It would have scared me, but he thought it was funny. Apparently he was walking in the streets in the middle of the night, and he saw a monster, and the monster got scared of its own reflection. I would have probably been frightened of it. But, yeah, it's so many. He doesn't talk about them very much with me. He talked about them more with Taram. The dreams I know came from Taram telling me. But Taram mostly said the dreams are nothing. That the boy just saw horrible things and has to deal with them. A lot of the children have. Taram probably has seen the worst. I worry about the boy.
What kind of things has Taram seen?
Oh, Taram's parents. I'm told that Taram was hidden under the floorboards when some monsters infiltrated their home. They lived in a farm outside of town. Taram hid under the floorboards. Demons came into the home. I haven't gotten Taram to tell me everything. All that I've gotten Taram to say is that he was grateful when they let his parents die. I worry for the boy. He's so very broken. Like when you see him, you speak to him, you think he's well adjusted. He's very calm. Nothing phases him. He's always in control. But I think he's just been broken too badly. There's no fear left in him anymore. He seems to care for the other children, but that's all. I remember once I tried to get a cat for the orphanage, and Andros sneezed when the cat came nearby, and the next thing I know, Taram had taken the cat and drowned it in the bathtub. He's a smart boy, Smart
I'll be
boy.
right back in a second.
I'm sorry?
So I'll be right back in 1 sec.
He's a smart boy, but I know that Patches was wanting me to teach him magic, get him into the academy, but I've worked with a number of wizards like Tarum, and they're the people who get other people hurt. Because they only care about a few people, and if you're not one of them. And if I'm honest, I don't think any of us are the people that Tarum cares about, unless you're one of the other orphans.
I see.
I admit I'm so sad to see the children taken, but I'm relieved that Tarum's gone. I remember once I had to discipline Andrew because he's an excited boy, jumps around all the time, and you need a little discipline in a classroom or else no one can learn. And I swear that if I had been teaching Tarum magic like Patches wants, he'd have burnt me alive that moment. Fortunately, Andrew didn't misbehave again. Tarum said he spoke to him, but I really think that we're better with Tarum gone. He's dangerous. I miss the others, though. I miss them.
What were the other children like?
Oh, Deacon was so full of energy, always telling stories about sharing the stories his parents told him. They were adventurers, you know. They'd often leave him with family friends, go on an adventure, come home with treasure, tell him the stories. He insists. He's not dead, just missing. He insists that they're not dead, that they're going to come back one day and just save him, bring him back, buy the orphanage. You know, wonderful things like that. Evelyn was a quiet girl. She's fond of knitting, weaving. Not very interactive. Lucinda took care of all of the girls. She's always on top of it, always helping everyone out. Very no nonsense. And then, of course, Tarum. Tarum always stands out to you.
Has Patches ever accidentally left the key anywhere?
Oh no, Patches is very, very disciplined. You have to understand, Patches grew up here. Patches was one of Gretchen's orphans. That's why he calls her Mama Gretchen. He has always been responsible. Gretchen tells me that when he was a child, he did a lot of what Tarum did, you know, taking care of the kids. You know, apparently the schoolmaster before me was a very stern old man, and Patches and the man took to whipping one of the children one day, and Patches broke the man's arms, which I can say with firmness the man would have deserved, because Patches is a sweetheart, and he would never hurt anyone who didn't deserve it.
He does seem very sweet.
I remember I started as schoolmistress right before he aged out, and I remember him working to get jobs and how meanly people treated him. You know, half orc and all. Convinced he was out for trouble. I'm the one who convinced Gretchen to bring him in and get him a position here. Gretchen's a big fan of the children going out on their own and contributing to Cauldron, but as I said, how better can he contribute than help a whole generation of children?
It would definitely teach them to judge less by appearance.
Yes. She says, speaking of, that's a beautiful mask. I love the little effect. Do you mind? She starts reaching out towards your mask, not to grab it, but do you mind if I take a look at it?
I don't think that's such a good idea.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. And she begins
see,
to cast a spell.
She casts the spell?
Yeah. And then she looks at you and she just furrows her brow and goes, That's... How much did that cost you? She just has a big grin on her face. I mean, I can't see a magical aura on it at all.
Oh, well, I don't really know. I got it from a friend.
Well, that's something indeed. It takes a great deal of magic to hide an aura completely. And for something so frivolous.
Well, I'm a performer. I guess maybe they thought that they couldn't have their performers' secrets being known.
Huh. Would you make a bluff check?
Okay. Also, I do have the Beguiling Liar trait, which I have a +4 to bluff checks when it comes to lying.
Okay. Well, if you send your friend around to the academy, I spend most of the days of the week down there in study. If you send their friend around to the academy, I would love to talk to them. My main research, you have to understand, is in illusion magics and manipulating mystic auras. That's just beautiful. And she has that look of wonder that only a true nerd can get looking at the thing they love.
Next time they visit, I'll be sure to send them your way.
Wonderful. Well, I suppose I should get back to teaching.
Sorry to have bothered you.
No, it's fine. And are you sure I can't take a closer look?
It's very precious to me.
I understand. Farewell. And you can hear her.
But I'm gonna just quietly leave the room, gesturing to follow.
And you can hear her in the other room going, so let's practice our multiplications. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And so on. Kids being bored as they are in school.
Was there anyone else you wanted to speak about?
I think we're good to go after we tell Gretchen that Andrew fell asleep.
I trust you got Andrew down to classes. He missed the last session. He can't miss this one. He'll be too far behind.
Patches wouldn't let us take us out of the room as he fell asleep.
Oh, Patches. What will I do with that boy?
Andrew seemed very exhausted, so maybe it is for the best that he get a little bit of sleep.
Yes, well, if he sleeps now, he won't sleep this evening. Thank you. I'll go speak with Patches. You can let yourselves out, I presume?
Yes. Thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you. And she walks over, and she kind of leans up, stretching her arms all the way, halfling that she is, tiptoes to grab you by the shoulders. Find who took my children, and make them suffer.
We will.
And she heads off.
I'm gonna bring out that list again. I have a theory, Trevor. It might be proven true if everyone else on this list might have bought the lock.
Well, maybe we should head to the locksmith and see if he's sold any locks to these people.
That sounds like a wonderful thing to do next time.
That's an idea. That is definitely an idea. I'll write that down. Way better than my idea of just like asking everyone associated with these victims if they bought the kind of lock.
So let's see. You have your previous 150 each, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to get another 150 each. For a total of 300 experience this session. And lots of roleplay.
And lots of being discovered.
Do you see why I was so excited leading into this?
Yeah, I was a bit anxious at first, but I'm kind of hooked.
Yeah.
And it just gets better. We have done 2 pages out of the 446. Granted, a lot
That's
of that
a lot of
is
pages.
Granted, like 100 of those pages are like setting information that isn't relative, and then when you hit a dungeon, you'll have lots of pages you start going through.
Yeah.
This has got, a lot of the dense, here are the people, here's what they know, have fun, roleplay. Which tends to be very concise.
Oh, like when we did the D&D 2?
Yeah. This had very similar denseness. But, yeah. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I am kind of concerned about how many people have already seen me without my mask.
Not that many people have seen you without your mask.
I had a few close calls.
Yeah. The one that actually matters, though, and with Rufus, and he fell unconscious and forgot about it. So
He didn't. He presented Jenya his concern, and Jenya came up and greeted you, and then cast Detect Evil.
Which wouldn't have detected me.
Yeah, because you're not evil. Yeah.
Nope. No devil or demon behind that mask. Just creepy at best.
Just a pinkish purple man with horns and bags under his eyes, with smoke coming out of those eyes.
Bags under his eyes that are empty, with no eyes in the sockets, and smoke. Yeah. Do you have a favorite NPC you met today?
I like Patches.
Patches was nice. I did like the madam, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cranky old lady, but she means well.
I don't think Tervu is going to tell about his dreams anytime soon, though. He's slowly realizing a bit the fact that Andro has had dreams of seeing him.
Yes, that I made up on the spot. I'm like, okay, Andro has nightmares, you have nightmares.
Connect them.
Sure. I have a reason for that, and I think it's relevant.
And my character's more or less writing this off as sleep paralysis.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, I'm glad you caught the reference.
Yeah.
I was practically reading from the standard clinical diagnosis of sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
As someone who gets it, it's not pleasant.
I get the opposite. where you act out your dreams.
I think my sister mentioned that she gets it sometimes. I think I might have only gotten it once, but nothing really scary happened. It's just like I got off the couch, and then I just back on the couch and wondering what the fuck.
So that's more like
one time
sleepwalking.
One time when I had I had a weird dream, and I was woken up by a large bang, and that large bang had been me swinging my entire wooden chair into my door.
And see, I haven't had sleep paralysis since I got on my CPAP, because part of my sleep paralysis was my sleep apnea would wake me up, but I wouldn't fully wake up. But I remember back when I was married, my ex-wife didn't like sleeping in the same room with me after the beginning of our marriage because, and I quote from her, that I would wake up in the middle of the night, open my eyes, and start asking her to push away the giant centipede that was lying on top of me. And like she's like, I thought you were making a joke the first time, and then you like would roll over and fall asleep, and then you'd wake up and describe other scary things, and I just don't want to be there. Whereas I learned later that her mother would hear me talking in the middle of the night and would just come over and light like a packet of herbs and wave it over me because apparently she thought that I was being attacked by devils because I was an orphan. Because her mother's quite superstitious. Her mother likes me more than my wife did, but she's quite superstitious. Like when she met WitchKit, she was super like, oh, you know a witch? And then at first she was like, you know a witch? And then I'm like, it's a good witch. It's a good witch. And she's like, oh. And then she like forced. This is like the other kit I know who's a Wiccan. She's the one who taught me to read tarot. She made her like make her lucky charms to protect the house from evil, and then when she knew I read tarot, she made me at the beginning of every week read her fortune for the week, and I'm like, I don't know if you want me to. And my wife was always annoyed because she didn't believe in that stuff, and I was there, and I just describe it out, and she's like, "Why do you always give bad fortunes?" And I'm like, so WitchKit says it's because my deck is imbued with the energy of the masculine, so it tends to warn of danger rather than informing of success. Which was, I don't buy this shit either. I do tarot as a party trick. But the point is, my ex-wife's mother believed it, and my ex-wife's mother was always very happy that I was informing her of the problems that were going to come. And she'd be like, oh, look, here's the bad thing that we avoided because we saw it coming because you read this thing that could have happened to anyone, anytime.
Yeah.
But it's fine. The point of everything being, sleep paralysis sucks. And when you read about it in this thing, you go, oh, god damn it, I know what that is. Because the sleep paralysis itself was in the adventure. But I had to tie it into you because, yeah.
Dreams.
I love the creepy dreams. There's less early game to tie into your thing, Antonio, but there is some stuff to tie into it later that I think you'll really like. So at the end of the day, total of 300 experience, not enough to level.
Yeah.
Not nearly enough.
They're 1,700 at level.
That was an interesting first session. It was a good start.
Really fun.
Yeah. I was worried it would drag a little more. But I think it was great. And next time, Locksmith.
I want to see the locksmith.
Call the locksmith.
Well, peace. And to anyone watching this now or in the future, hopefully we can keep this streaming thing going and it won't collapse under us like AD&D did.
Yeah.
Lights.